Holy crap, you guys. Like, I don't even know if anybody's here yet. Oh man. I'm upset, you guys. Like, I can't even. Oh, man. Okay, let's. Welcome to Shooting the Salt, you guys. I'm your host, Oriona75. You can call me Ori. Tonight we are talking about episode 1221. Let me just start by addressing this. I had a lot of stuff going on today, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do my makeup at the beginning of the episode, like I've been doing for the last two episodes. And then I got to the beginning of the episode, and I bawled like a hungry, angry baby. And yeah, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I was like, you know what? Screw this. If this is what they want to do, which isn't you guys' fault, of course, but if this is how the show is going to run, darn it, I'm not putting on makeup. Or doing hair. So, bleh. So, all right, we got to rip it off like a Band-Aid, guys. We got to rip it off like a Band-Aid and just get into it. Show opens, you see a woman running through the woods. Even though I knew Eileen was in this episode, I wasn't clear initially that it was Eileen herself until a couple of different angles that they got into it, and then you realize that there's a hellhound chasing her, and I'm like, oh shit. But at the same time, you're going, why is a hellhound chasing her? Because we know Eileen hasn't sold her soul or anything. She knows about these things. And so it's like, what the heck? And then I'm okay. And then yeah, and then you hear a dog whistle, and Ketch has the dog whistle, and obviously he's controlling the hellhound, and literally, like, you guys know me by now, like, I have notepads for everything, but literally, it's just, no. It was not okay. It was, I'll be honest, I tweeted Shoshana Stern, and I'm like, look, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I am not okay with this, and, hashtag Eileen deserved better, because she did. So then we have the boys looking for Mary, trying to figure out where she is, because she left, of course, that cryptic message, and they haven't been able to locate her for approximately a week now, since she's called. And so he said that he can't find, they've reached out to some people, they can't get in touch with Mick. Mick's been pretty much radio silent. And so Dean calls Ketch, who we only get to hear one half of this conversation, but it's very evasive. He's very accusatory with Dean, which happens when people are guilty of crap, that they don't want to talk about. I really need a drink, you guys. Oh my God. I was this close to drinking on air tonight. I'm like, oh God. Anyway, so then, they talk about, Ketch doesn't know where he is, hasn't seen her for 3 days, but then the guys talk, well, they were on a case a week ago together, so something doesn't make sense. Yeah, duh, he's lying. And then Sam's phone rings. And it's Jody, and we obviously can tell that it's bad news, and confirms that Eileen has been found, and you're right, Rachel. Tipsy Ori might be... I don't know. Tipsy Ori might not handle this better. Tipsy Ori might be, crying in a puddle of her tears, and that might be our whole 45-minute episode tonight. Because that's where I am right about now. They confirm it's Eileen, and... Y'all, the look on Sam's face, props to Jared. I think I think there's enough of the cast that is so inherently connected with us as a fandom, whether it be through Twitter or Tumblr or whatever medium, that they knew we wouldn't handle this well. So props to Jared and Jensen for giving it the gravitas that it deserved. And thank you to the director and the editors for keeping it in there. Writers, screw you. That's where I am right now. Screw you. I don't like you very much right now. I think we all need to volunteer to give Sam a hug after all of that. And yeah, that I will go down with the Sam and Eileen ship forever. I will ship that until the end of time. Ugh. Okay. I have to pull it together. The Hellhound involved, which means Crowley, and literally, like, I was literally so upset, you guys. I have confirmed Eileen. Like, that's it. Confirmed Eileen. It just, I couldn't even write that she was, I can't even say it. And then I wrote Hellhound, Crowley. And then I was able, like, Mary drops in on Rick, another hunter, you know, and that's where I was able to start taking notes again. But Mary drops in on Rick, and he's obviously just coming in from a hunt, something going on. And he's like, you can't call, like, you're in my spot, you're just chilling out, it's dark, what the heck. And it was interesting how they shot this, because it was hard to tell initially. Like, I literally wrote memory, like, is Mary reliving some type of memory or having a nightmare or what have you. And then Rick kind of bucks the system. And y'all don't jump ahead in the chat. No jumping ahead. We'll get there. And there was something about it where, like, it just didn't seem real the way Samantha Smith played it, to where, you know, I was like, well, did we not kill the shapeshifter? You know, is that really the real Mary? Is she having some kind of weird memory? Is she under some kind of control? So, you know, I kind of picked that one up early, speaking of jumping ahead. And it's actually Mary having a nightmare, and Rick's kind of bucking the system. I don't want to do the whole British men of letters, staying there, a bunch of dick bags, not knowing that she's joined them quite a while back. And of course they fight, and she kills him, and yikes, and she kind of snaps to, and Lady Bevel's there and tells her that she's being realigned, that they're using her to kind of force what's left of the American hunters in. It's either you're in or you're dead. And at the same time, she decides to divulge, oh yeah, I know exactly what happened with you and Azazel, with John, and basically offering Sam's life without realizing it, in exchange for John's, and then gives him, or Tony gives Mary the whole, this is what happened with John. And I think in a way that was good, because I feel like Dean at the beginning of the season really kind of set Mary up that Dad was great and he was wonderful and he loved you till the end. And while all that's true, I think Lady Bevel kind of balanced it out, where it was like, yeah, but there was lots of drinking and leaving the boys for long periods of time, and she flat out said neglect and child abuse. And I know that our fandom can be very black and white on the issue of John, when it comes to Sam and Dean. And so I feel like she gave the other side of the story, but made it more harsh. And so I feel like Mary has more of a centered story of what happened, what really happened once she was gone. Yes, he was great to an extent as far as Dean saw him, but he wasn't so great because there were these things, there were these shortcomings. And so I feel like Mary has a more balanced picture of who John really was and how the boys were raised. Hang on, getting a drink, catching up with chat. I thought it was. How does everyone know about Mary and Azazel? That's a very good question, Michelle. And Miss Smug Bevel. I have my sources. No, you don't. Shut up. I don't like you. I don't like you at all. Like Dean knows, the angels know, but did Dean tell anyone but family? Did the angels tell? That's a good question. Did Dean even tell Sam? Because I know Sam went back at one point with Dean and saw Mary and John, but I feel like that wasn't that point in time. Anywho, let's keep going. And we learned from Lady Tony Bevel that Mary is definitely under some kind of control. There's a fly on my screen. It's driving me nuts. Okay. So then, in another portion of the British Men of Letters Bunko, Tempo Wewe Bunko, cheese and rice. I'm messed up tonight, guys. I'm totally messed up tonight. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. We have Crowley and Hess, which is like, we learned that there was an already established arrangement over in the UK. You know, the British Men of Letters would allow him to collect his souls if people were stupid enough to sell them, and he would keep his demons out of whatever was going on with the British Men of Letters, and he made sure that same agreement was intact for them invading the United States. And of course, Hess is like, well, your little pets, the Winchester boys, da-da-da-da. And he was very non-committal with Hess about that. Like, she's like, I'm going to take them out. You're not going to interfere, right? And Crowley didn't really make an indication one way or another, which I think is very smart of Crowley. Crowley's always been really smart about playing both sides of the fence. And so I think I think Crowley realizes with the way everything is that there's a lot of balls juggling in the air, between Lucifer and Kelly and the Nephilim baby and the British Men of Letters invading and. And so Crowley's just trying to do the best that he can and just juggle everything. But I have to say that entire scene between, as much as I hate this episode and the writers, I have to say that whomever it is that's playing Dr. Hess and Mark Shepard, the British snark was very top-notch in that scene, and I really, really appreciated it. It was very good. Oh, did you hear that? I don't care. I'm like, ah! But yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was kind of the, I'm not going to say redeeming quality, but highlight for me. Because there's no highlighting this. Okay. All right. So Crowley goes back into his main headquarters and whatnot. Of course, Sam calls Crowley and asks about Eileen. He has no idea what, like, who, what, I who, no, hound, what, no, no clue. Typical Crowley. Once again, trying to keep his balls in the, trying to keep everything juggled and stay quite neutral no matter how everything pans out. Oh, jeez. Anyway, Crowley tells Lucifer about Dagon, that Dagon is dead, that Kelly is now in the company of Castiel. Lucifer doesn't seem fazed so much. Yeah. And so we've kind of got that whole trying to figure out what's going on there. Oh, Michelle's jumping ahead. I'm not ready for you yet. Hang on. Hold up. We getting there. All right. So then we have Mary being brought back into her cell, which I think as which was kind of confusing to me because she was in a different outfit. You could kind of tell that there was something going on, but it looked like the same kind of nightmare mind control thing that she had earlier. So it's hard for me to determine if they'd had another session of the mind altering realignment party or what had happened. But they bring her back in. She's having nightmares about what happened with Rick, about the realignment process. And then Ketch and Lady Bevel have a nice little snarky moment, and we get confirmed, Ketch and Bevel, that it was a thing. Which I think at this point in the season we kind of already knew that. We were pretty sure. Yeah, I was still kind of hoping that they would confirm that Bevel's son is Ketch's son, and I still think that's a possibility. But I found it odd that they didn't, like, other than the end of last season, the end of season 11, when they introduced Lady Bevel before everything went down, she's like, tucking her son into bed, and he hasn't been mentioned since. Like, obviously Lady Bevel's very well off. She has a maid. There's people there to take care of her child. But, like, I mean, didn't she call him at one point earlier in the season, like, during the whole Sam torture thing? But other than that, like, he hasn't been mentioned. Nobody said anything. Like, I don't know. I'm having parental issues, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I think little Lord Bevel is potentially maybe Arthur Bevel? I don't know. Anyway, the boys head to the post office and they find that they have a letter from Eileen that was sent to them approximately 4 days ago, that she was in South Carolina and she was trying to get back to them because when she got back to Ireland, she felt like that her phone had been bugged, that they were hacking into her computer, that they were getting information from her and whatnot. And so she was headed back to them. She was like, I don't want to sound all girly, but, can I bunk with you guys for a little while? And that brings on a whole nother level of Sam and Eileen feelings. Y'all, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I know we're all not okay, but I'm really not okay. Okay. So the boys realize if Eileen thought she was being tapped, hacked, bugged, whatever, the odds are that they are too. So that means rushing back to the bunker and carefully, quietly, and gently starting to search through the bunker to find anything that would lead them to believe that they were being bugged as well, which of course Dean finally finds. Side note, props to Jensen and the editors for the bad hamburger and its nasty smell. I don't know why that's so cute that Jensen Dean does that, like the whole, and all that, but it's cute. Rachel, stop that. Killing me. Anyway. And so Dean, of course, finds the mic next to his gun in there. And so they set up the British Men of Letters because they assume, rightly so, that they are that they are listening. Ugh, God, y'all, I'm so messed up. And so they set him up and they give him a fake place, fake time, another hunter that they're pretty sure is still alive, which means it's going to be another hunter that Lady Bevel and the British Men of Letters can get their hands on and whatnot. So they set him up. In the meantime, Lucifer is still trying to get Drexel to unlock the power source that is that Crowley has locked under his control. And he realizes that the device, the polarity is shifting, which means instead of draining power from Lucifer and giving power to Crowley, it's starting to work in the opposite direction. So Lucifer can control Crowley. I'd love to know how that happened. But we find that out, and so, which means all hell, or all Lucifer is going to break loose. And then we have another touching moment between Ketch and Tony. We find out that they were longtime rivals at Hendrix, that she was very cutthroat and ruthless, which kind of matches Ketch's personality, but the only reason she never went after him was because they were having lots and lots of sex, according to Ketch, which furthers my point about the potential of Little Lord Bevel being Arthur Ketch's son. And yeah, and so there's a lot of tension there. You know, I'm gonna take you out, no, I'm gonna take you out, yada yada yada. And then hang on, let me go back to Michelle's thing because I think that was related. No, that was about something else. We'll come back to it. And then Mary asks to see Ketch, which was very confusing for a second. And Sam Smith played that scene really well because I was very uncertain as to whether or not she was trying to, and David Hayden Jones did as well. I don't want to sell him short, but they did very well on selling the potential. Could there have been a relationship between Ketch and Mary? Ketch seemed to allude to the fact that if there had been a relationship, if there was something there between them, that he may have been more willing to help her. That some of his refusal to help her is due to her rejection. Ketch, despite Bevel's long-standing knowledge of Ketch and what we know of Ketch and calling him a psychopath and all this, that, and the other, Ketch seems much more affected by Mary than he seems. And it stands to reason because I know we had talked previously when Ketch and Mary were together that did he know that she had originally died and whatnot. So it stands to reason that if Lady Bevel knows, I mean, it would be in Mary's file, and Ketch would know as well, and not really care. And then she seemed to try and play on his emotions, and when that doesn't work, she seems to lean on him for a hug and goes for his gun, basically. And instead of attempting to shoot him and get out of there, I think at that point Mary kind of realized, especially after trying to escape previously and ending up in this situation, there was no way out. And so she attempts to try and turn the gun on herself. And Ketch, of course, isn't having it. And she begs and pleads with him for him to do it. And Michelle is very right. It is telling that she tried to kill herself instead of Ketch. And I get why. She played that, Samantha Smith played that very well, and the writers wrote it very well. That, you know, the whole, Sam, Dean, and Cass are always team free will. And when you take someone's free will away, and leave them no choice, this is where you end up. And so I think very much so the boys got this free will streak from their mother, and she doesn't want it anymore. She doesn't want to have her free will taken away any more than her boys would. And so where are we? Next page, which we're almost done. But yeah, Ketch seems to be more affected by Mary and her need for free will than he seems to think. Like he talks a big game. To put it in Shakespearean terms, the gentleman doth protesteth too much, which might not even be the correct line, but you get where I'm going at. So then we have the boys headed to the setup. They play it off really well. They look to be walking into the building. We have 2 British men of letters assassins or SWAT men or whatever. Follow them into the building. They get locked in. And then I believe had a little bit of an interruption at that point, but I believe the boys killed them and then went for the car. Lady Bevel can't tell what's going on. We realize she's in the car. The boys set her up, and Sam gets the drop on Tony. That I liked. That I liked a lot. That made me happy. Very happy. I mean, it's not full-blown revenge for what Tony did to Sam, but it makes me feel better. So, there's talks of riots in the chat. I'm with you. I'm with you in spirit. So then we have Crowley and Lucifer. Crowley realizes too late in his monologuing to Lucifer that he has no power, that Lucifer is controlling him. No, Rachel, we can't talk about that angle that made Sam look so huge. Anyway, Michelle had a theory on why Crowley's control failed. Crowley planned it, she hopes. But she thinks she hopes in vain. Versus the spell gone wrong on its own. Versus Lucy Jr. somehow setting Daddy free. I think all of those are very plausible situations. But once again, sadly, the polarity is fully reversed, and Lucifer has control and is breaking free, and that's no bueno. Oh yeah, and then there was the whole thing about Tony kicking Dean in the balls, and Dean says, "Keep doing that, we're gonna have to start dating." Like, yeah, like I appreciate that Dean wants to have a little joke since they have the upper hand, but at the same time, it's like, no, not so much. All right. So the boys get Tony in the back of the Impala, and they take off back to the bunker. She tells the boys about Mary-ish, that they have them, that she is under their control, kind of. She taunts them with the idea of Mary and Ketch knowing each other in the biblical sense, which the boys obviously and legitimately don't take well. I don't know that I would either. She tells them that Mick is also dead because they found he was a little too soft, like Sam and Dean, and then flat out threatens Jody and Claire. I mean, granted, yes, she says all of them are going to be taken out, but Jody and Claire specifically, she names by name. Did it evoke Pulp Fiction for anybody with Sam holding the gun on Tony in the backseat? A little bit. Yeah, I haven't. It's been a very long time since I've seen Pulp Fiction, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. So Crowley, then we go back to Crowley and Lucifer. Crowley is realizing, oh crap, and begins backpedaling a lot. Yeah, no, I'll sit here in the office. You go create chaos. I'll just hang here. You go do your thing. I'm cool. And Crowley ends up getting tossed around like a damn rag doll. Lucifer eventually, we see his wings and the eyes and the whole 9 yards, and he basically he grabs an angel blade and, you know, taunts him kind of with cuts and stuff with the angel blade, knocks him out. He's flat on the floor. You see Crowley look at the mouse, and when Crowley looked at the mouse, I knew exactly what was going down. It was the end of, I think, season 10 all over again after Cass was commanded to kill him. I was like, I know what's about to happen here, please. Not to mention, which was kind of verified for me when Lucifer actually stabbed him and there was no flash. Demons always flash out when they're killed. No flash, no kill. Nope, didn't happen. Especially after he cuts Crowley's cheek and you can see the flash under his skin, you know, when the skin splits. And then, psh, no flash. Which, I feel like maybe Lucifer may not know because, I don't. Lucifer doesn't care. He's doing his own thing. Like, whatever. I don't care that demons flash out. Although I feel like it's still in a way he should know that. But the rest of the demons should know. Which kind of goes back to Michelle's earlier theory about Crowley meant for this to happen. It's possible. I don't know how probable it is, but it's possible. Grab the salt buff. Oh, we had a... Are you caught up, Rachel? No Sparky. No dead Crowley. Crowley's in the rat. And so the boys show back up. Then we're finally back to the boys' bunker. They walk in with Tony. I almost called her something else. Very, very unladylike. I'm so sorry. God, it's jumping around. I'm looking over there. I'm seeing it's jumping. I did enjoy the whole line where Dean is telling Tony, if Ketch wants to see you alive, tell him to get his prissy ass down here. And then Ketch is like, well, what do you know? My prissy ass is right here. I might have to tweet something out to David Hayden Jones about that later. Like, so, how's your prissy ass doing today? Just because. And it devolved from there to just a slew of badass gun moves. Like, this was something straight out of a movie. Like, Sam grabs the gun in her hand and, like, it just, you know, guns going off everywhere and Dean behind the back and cheese and rice. It was wonderful. It was great. And then out of nowhere, when the boys think they have the drop on them and it's just Hess and... Not Hess. That's what happens when I read the chat. When it's just Tony and Ketch left, out comes Mary. And it's what I'm calling Mary Robot. So it's a Mary Bot. Because that's, we all know, under normal circumstances, Mary wouldn't do that. So, Ketch locks the boys and Tony in to die, tells them that the water's been cut off, the electricity's been cut off, the fans that bring in fresh air will begin to reverse once the door is shut. They have maybe 2 or 3 days to get out of there alive. Of course, Ketch leaves Tony in there because Ketch has decided he wants control of the American men of letters, wants the British take care of everything. And so he's devised basically this way to get what he wants. And so, yikes. So they lock the doors, they can't get out. You hear the fans reverse, and oh crap. And yeah, you're correct, Zoo. Typical villain stuff. Me and David are going to have a long talk in Chicago. Anyway, we go back to Hell headquarters, Hell HQ. And Drexel and the other demons are trying to clean up after the aftermath of Crowley and Lucifer. He wants all this cleaned up before he gets back. What do we do with this? Talking about Crowley's body. Just toss it. So a couple of guys go pick him up and start dragging him out. But guess what follows? A little bitty mouse. I wonder what that could be. Please. 12 seasons of this, we know exactly what it is. It's Crowley. I mean... and then we have the scene in the car between Mary and Ketch. Are you okay? It'll get easier not to remember the ones you love, which makes that whole conversation with the way Ketch worded things, makes me wonder if there's more Ketch backstory there, that this was done in some part to Ketch. Who did they make Ketch, kill someone he loved in order to have complete control of him and whatnot. Rachel's asking how no smoke out. If you're referring to Crowley, I think it happened because we saw Crowley look at the mouse, but then the camera angle went back to Lucifer, who was looking at Drexel or one of the other demons, and I think it happened then. We just didn't actually see it, but it's supernatural. We know what happened. Come on. Which is why we didn't see Crowley flash out or even react very much when the meat suit was stabbed. But going back to Carrie, wow, Ketch and Mary. Ooh, oh gosh. I think maybe Ketch, some of this has happened to Ketch, or he accepted it willingly without the realignment in order to save someone, which is quite possible. But Mary tells him she's fine. But something about the way Samantha played that scene said to me, she's not quite the Mary that we know, but she's not full-blown Robo-Mary that we saw lock the boys in the bunker and hold them at gunpoint. There's just something, I don't know. And I'm with Zoo. I'm hoping that she's playing them all. I'm hoping that once she realized that she was not going to be able to get away from them and leave, that when she woke up after being tasered, which was in last week's episode, that she was like, all right, cool. If this is what's going to go down, we're going to play it from the inside. And then, of course, the last thing that we see is Lucifer standing over a hilltop or something, looking over a landscape, and Lucifer got a nice new wardrobe upgrade, which, let's all be real, it was past time. So, and he's obviously going to go and find his son. So, So that's it, you guys. And we have a preview for next week. Next week is the season finale. We have for the first time ever, we have a 2-hour episode of Supernatural, which will start at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. We have Hess, we have Jody, we have Cass, and who knows what's going to happen. I'm hoping the boys still have their cell phones and can get a signal out to Mary not Mary, but Jody or something. I don't know what's going to happen, guys. I'm very, realistically, it's supernatural. We know nothing's going to happen to the boys, but at the same time, everything is so very up in the air with everyone else, it seems like to me. I don't feel as confident at the end of this season about Crowley or Cass, or I think Mary's been kind of iffy all season. I think we've been kind of waiting for that shoe to drop. Claire, Jody. The only one that I feel certain is going to be okay is Donna, because they haven't mentioned her at all. Like, this, I think there was an episode planned for Donna, and like right now I'm going, oh, thank God they couldn't make it work. Thank God Brianna's schedule just did not allow, because like they can't take everyone away from me. Like, it's not okay. It's not okay. Yeah, Garth, like I don't feel comfortable about Garth's status. Alex, like I'm like, yeah, this is like, I know, I kind of feel like asking Chuck to come back is kind of like using the cult, and like it fixes everything, it does everything, but I really want Rob to come back and be like, all right, fix this, okay, go. Like, I'm just not okay. I'm so not okay. Yeah. Oh, Michelle says, as soon as Eileen hugged Sam, I knew she was dying. Michelle? I think we all kind of had that thought briefly. But we still hoped. I think that's the worst part about this show, is that we kind of, as a fandom after 12 seasons, we kind of, last episode when she hugged him, or maybe not last episode, but the episode when she killed the other British men a letter, and when she decided to go back to Ireland. This show is really good about getting us personally invested, not only in the lives of Sam and Dean, and by extension Cass and Crowley, but even side characters like Jody and Donna and Alex and Claire and Garth and Eileen and Alex and not Alex, Alicia and Max and Baines, and it's just Charlie, God. and Bobby, oh God, like they're excellent about. It's almost like they give us just enough rope to hang ourselves with. Like, oh, I love this person. Oh, I love this person. Really? It's horrible. It's horrible. And I agree. She didn't have enough. Eileen didn't have enough time, and I think we all wanted more. We all wanted more of Eileen's story. We all wanted more of Sam and Eileen. I think we all loved that dynamic there between Sam and Eileen. And yes, I will be crying myself to sleep tonight. All right, last thoughts, you guys. Final thoughts. 2-hour episode next week on the CW. 8 Eastern, 7 Central. I wanna ask this of you guys. I know, and this is more so not for the people who are watching live right now, who get to watch it for East Coast Central Time, but for those that are on the West Coast that would like to participate, who normally have to watch this afterwards. If you would like, I would be willing to forego shooting the salt for Thursday night and holding it until Friday night, to allow those in the Western time zone, or even over in the UK and other parts of the world, to be able to see the episode, so that we can all talk about it as a group. I would absolutely love to do that, because I know there's a lot of people who really would love to interact and participate with us who don't get a chance to do that. So if you are interested in a Friday night shooting the salt after the season finale, as opposed to a Thursday night directly after the Eastern Central episode airs. Leave me a note in the comments or hit me up on Twitter, Oriona75, that's ORIONA75, or you can even send me a message, shootingthesalt.tumblr.com. That's going to be it for tonight, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Once again, I am your host, Ori. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Throw us a follow on Tumblr, and if you'd love to, I'd love for you to throw me a follow over on the Twitter. Never mind, you don't know who that is. Anyway, on the Twitter. Anyway, thanks you guys. Let's all go take some shots and try and sleep through this. I'll see you guys next week. Good luck and Godspeed.